One body that may or may not be hitting the floor for the Indianapolis Colts is Jonathan Taylor. Because, man, oh, man, did that thing get ugly in a hurry. Jim Irsay, I think it was Thursday, took to Twitter and just made his comments felt about the running back position. And Jim Irsay talked about, well, we already negotiated some sort of a deal with, the CBA. It was already collectively agreed to and all this other stuff. And then, it's within bad faith to go ahead and start complaining about it after the fact. One of the people that commented on Jim Irsay's tweet was Jonathan Taylor's agent. Jonathan Taylor's entering the final year of his rookie deal. He's been trying to get a contract extension done. He's dealing with this ankle injury that he suffered last year, so he's been on the PUP list. There's been kind of this weird back and forth. And then apparently Jonathan Taylor requests a trade last week. We don't really hear about it. He meets with Jim Irsay on Saturday night in Jim Irsay's bus during practice. The meeting goes for about an hour. Neither really disclosed what was being talked about. And then it goes public via Stephen Holder, who's been covering the Colts for a long time, that Jonathan Taylor would like a trade. And then Jim Irsay, while at training camp, is asked about the situation, has just said they don't have any interest in wanting to do a contract extension at this time. And so while he's sitting there on a golf cart, just sort of waxing poetically about the whole situation, he decided to just get down to the bottom barrel of what this all means for Jonathan Taylor and himself when it comes to the NFL and this contract negotiation. Let's take a listen.
If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. I mean, we know that. The National Football rolls on. It doesn't matter, who comes and who goes.
Well, I mean, there you have it. Kept it all the way real.
Let's get right to the bottom of the barrel here. We're all going to die someday.
Oh, boy.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, death is inevitable. Okay, cool.
He did explain. He did say what probably every owner is thinking, though.
Okay, and to your point, there's a lot of industries that are like that. I'll put it this way. Hey, man, if I didn't log into you guys today, you guys would be like, man, I wonder where Brady's at, but the show would go on. Like, you guys would not be like, oh.
You had some time off, Brady. The show went on.
Yeah. You guys it wouldn't be like the show would stop. Like, it would still run from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern time. And after the show, you'd be like, oh, my gosh. Oh, man, that's sad. But, hey, so what are we going to do about the show tomorrow? Or the rest of the week? We got a third guy coming in. Like, let's be real. Like, there is truth to what Jim Irsay said. I think what's shocking about this is you just never hear an owner publicly admit that and say that, and that's what's surprising. And Jonas did a great job of just taking about 2.5 minutes to really lay out the red carpet for this discussion.
Tried to.
But there was one detail too that he didn't include, and that's apparently when Jonathan Taylor showed up for his physical, he also claimed to have, I think it was like a back injury or something that maybe occurred that was outside of the team facilities. Now, that's significant because the team now views that as an injury that occurred off-site, which means they're not responsible for paying for his salary or anything, especially if they put him on the non-football injury list, the NFI, which is possible. And they could drag this thing on through the entire season and not even pay him if he happened to get injured outside of team facilities or not actually part of a team activity in the offseason, which is potentially what they're going to claim. So this could get really ugly really fast. And I don't know, LaVar, I think it's surprising because Jonathan Taylor when healthy has been so good for them. But I guess if you look at the state of the running backs in the NFL, it kind of speaks for itself.
I think that's totally what it is Irsay's looking at the value that is there for the running backs, and he's making the organization is making their decisions based off of what the market is saying.
This feels personal, though.
Well, but he kept it all the way 100 from the hip.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't think that that's how these owners feel about every single position out there, possibly other than the quarterback's position, and even there, Jim Irsay had to deal with that with Andrew Luck. He went through having to continue the show without your main star on
do you
stage.
think he's scarred from that?
I mean, possibly. Wouldn't you be?
Yeah,
If you
honestly,
had a once-in-a-generation talent like that, and he just, like, I'm done all of a sudden.
Well, especially if let's just be real. They tanked. Like, Peyton was hurt. They tanked that season. They did all they could to try to field a team that would hopefully warrant them the number one pick. I mean, that's how that worked out. So I think if you took that on in doing that, an organization that, say what you want about the Colts, they've been pretty competitive throughout the past 2 decades. A lot of it has to do with Peyton and Andrew Luck, but even Phillip Rivers when he came in for a year and some of the others, they've been competitive. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that one season where they had to tank for it and they get Luck and the stars align and it feels like they've got another future Hall of Famer on their roster for years to come, and then he kind of
bam,
burns them.
Yeah, and that's where I think if you're saying it might be personal, Jonas, I know you might have been taking a different angle, and I don't want to step on you.
No.
But it definitely could be personal. Like, he might have commitment issues.
Well,
He probably had to tell himself that several different times that the show goes on. Like, I got to make it. Started crying, maybe had a drink,
Jonas?
Started singing, butt naked with his cowboy pants or cowboy
That's what I
shoes
thought
on,
may happen. Yeah, like maybe Thursday nights is when they what's the name of his band? The Straight Shots, or is that someone else?
No, that's James Dolan. He's got JD.
That's right. That's JD and the Straight Shots. Yeah. Well, whatever.
Didn't we call
Jim
him
Irsay
the Leaning Trees? Yeah.
The Leaning Trees. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got a couple. I don't know. Jonas, you know that you were a musician. Like, do you guys have one day a week or something? You get together and play and jam out.
Well, yeah, you gotta have a little jam session. It's like a practice.
Yeah.
You get together and full pads. Let it be known who's got what, who's working on what. It's a creative.
But here's
process.
my question. If the name of your band is Jim Irsay and the Leaning Trees, don't you have to have Jim Irsay for the show to go on? If he were to die,
I don't know. I think you just call it the Leaning
on?
Trees, and you move on. We've seen other bands move on without their lead singer.
Yeah, look at
that is true.
Journey got that new singer, and they haven't missed.
Sounds just like him.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Nirvana, but Kurt Cobain passed, and they turned into Foo Fighters.
He checked out.
Yeah.
What
did they really?
Well, they didn't. Kinda. It was the drummer from Nirvana. Started Foo Fighters, and then
Foo Fighters is pretty cool. I like their
Foo Fighters is dope, man.
Yeah.
Jonas wouldn't say he likes either Nirvana or Foo Fighters, but
listen.
Well,
Nirvana's
Kurt
got some
Cobain
good songs.
Was dope, man.
Foo Fighters have some good songs. I just think when you look at the list of great bands from the Seattle grunge era, Nirvana's clearly at the bottom. I don't know what to tell anybody.
Can we come back to some Nirvana out of the next break?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Enjoy hearing that.
Mark, is that possible?
Didn't Nirvana
anything instead of UB40 or red wine would be great.
I was gonna say, didn't Nirvana do a remake of UB40's Red Wine? But
I hope not.
Now, on the subject of the back injury that the Colts reportedly are claiming Jonathan Taylor showed up with, Jonathan Taylor did go to Twitter, which is where all the stuff gets handled. This is where the stuff gets cleared up. And he said, 1, never had a back pain. 2, never reported back pain. Not sure who the, quote, sources are, but find new ones. This whole thing's a disaster.
Hey, by the way, I saw y'all's favorite agent in the casino after the fight. Was that Saturday?
Oh, Mulugeta?
Or the day before, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's propped up looking tough next to that craps table, huh?
Yeah.
Probably had someone else throw the dice for him, huh?
He was walking with Micah. I saw Micah in the casino. He was walking with Micah. No, we did not speak or acknowledge each other's presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, of course he wasn't walking by himself. That's just not his style.
No, he wasn't by himself. So it was interesting, though, because I'm sure he hears that somebody's told him that we talk about him on the show. He certainly didn't acknowledge my presence, and the feeling was certainly reciprocated back.
You should.
He's actually the new little David. He's like little Danny, but since little Danny's out of the news, it's down little David.
So it's little David.
You should have pulled
little David.
You should have pulled an Irsay and just walked up to him and said, "Hey, listen, man, I know we haven't seen eye to eye in a lot of things, but we're all gonna die." And
I don't even know him.
It is what it is.
I don't even know him. It's not even a thing.
It's probably a good reminder, though. It like sets the tone and perspective for people. Hey, man, just want you to know we're all gonna die. So what you feel like is what you're doing is significant. No one really cares.
Can we please hear Jim Irsay again with just words of wisdom to start your Monday? Nothing but positivity from the Colts
lyrics, by the way.
If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. I mean, we know that. The National Football rolls on. It doesn't matter, who comes and who goes.
I mean, he wanted to say, if I lost my team tonight, because that would have went straight to Dan Snyder's neck. If I lost my team tonight, the show goes on.
He's being truthful. I mean, Tom Brady's arguably the greatest resume in NFL history. He's retired. He's moved on. It's like, and the league just kind of pivots. They're like, well, we got Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And I mean, if you looked on social media when Joe Burrow got injured, you'd be hard pressed not to find a story, an article, an update, something about his injury, or Justin Herbert's contract. I mean, the show really does go on in that respect. It's pretty humbling when you really think about it.
Yeah, but I think you could.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes, it's supposed to be, but it's like
that's how it's supposed to be.
You're in the middle of a contract negotiation. It's like, well, I don't understand. Why don't you see my value? Because you're going to die one day.
But he put it in perspective. But Jonas, he didn't say if Jonathan Taylor were to die. He said if Jonathan Taylor were out of the league, which to me is actually that's even more hard hitting than saying we're all going to die, because you said something that's inevitable. You actually really said, Jonathan, I'm okay with you not being in the league, active in the league. Like the show will go.
I just realized. I hope Jim Irsay never meets my children, because I feel like he's going to be like, yeah, well, that Santa Claus guy the Easter Bunny.
He eventually
and the Tooth Fairy.
And going to die.
And, like anyone else who happens to currently be in their life, he is going to absolutely take a battle axe to.
But don't worry.
Yeah, what happened to Grandpa
Jimmy? There will still be Easter.
Grandpa Jimmy had a little too much cough syrup.
It's like
he's out of there.
One of your daughters got her favorite car. It's like her favorite car in the world. She cruises around the neighborhood, and Irsay shows up and goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. In the next hurricane, that'll be wiped out." Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Jim.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Owl got a hold of the Easter Bunny. Don't worry though. There's still going to be an Easter egg hunt. Which, by the way,
he's almost the last person you
eggs.
Want. He's the last one you
Bunnies
want, like giving you like advice or telling you like something bad's going to happen, right?
Oh yeah, it's just just let it fly.
Can you imagine
man.
Jim Irsay on Hard Knocks? Like he's actually in there for the player, cutting and all that. He's like, well, you just weren't good enough for us, but hey, look, we're all going to die one day, and doesn't really matter.
But don't worry about it on your death.
Do you think he'd be putting a lot of salt? You think he'd be putting a lot of salt on his Egg McMuffin while he's saying it though? Like a whole bunch of salt.
Like Jerry?
Like Jerry.
Salt on the rim of his margarita.
I mean, why did Jerry even have the top on to the salt? He should have just had the top off of the salt and put it on.
By the way,
he put so much salt on that Egg McMuffin.
First of all, don't you think there's enough sodium in McDonald's products that you don't need that
He was trying to hydrate. He was trying to get potassium intake.
I was just watching a video last night about their fries and how they only use certain russet potatoes. They have a high quality of what they use.
Yep.
But then, like, the chemicals they put on those things, man, in order to ensure that they, like, properly grow and develop, like, farmers don't even go out in the fields after they put this pesticide on it for 5 days. It's so potentially toxic. And then they put it in, like, these big, like, storage facilities that it takes, I don't know, another period of time for all the gas to be extracted out of it, because they're literally not even edible for like weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah. And those are the potatoes that they use to put in McDonald's fries?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, pass on that.
Then they become edible.
Right.
Eventually. Wow. but guys are in like hazmat suits and gas masks going into these facilities to like check to make sure like all the gas is extracted out of these potatoes to be able to make them survive and grow and develop into like the perfect russet potato to then cut up to put in a McDonald's fry.
And if one of those guys walked up to Jim Irsay and said, I'm not sure about the conditions we're working in, he'll say, well, what does it matter? We're all going to die anyways. Okay, thank you. Get back to work. Yeah. Clock in, clock out, make us some fries, and then we're off and running. So that's fun stuff from Jim Irsay. Yeah, you bet. Hey, who's making the fries? It's that guy over there that's got the nuclear war costume on. That guy, he's making your fries. Great.
Jeez.
Cool. Can I get a large then? If we're gonna do this, let's go all the way.
What are they doing with those chickens and the meats too? Then, if that's what they're doing with the potatoes.
Good point.
The potatoes.
It's like the Captain America of chickens is what they're cutting it up. You know, so those things are like biologically modified.
Oh man, so fun stuff. Good to hear from Jim Irsay, straight out of a.
Well, good luck to you, Jonathan.
Yeah,
good luck to you, man. But doesn't sound like it's going to end well, but you know,
Jonathan,
good luck to you.
Pick up your toe tags on the way out. We appreciate your time here.
None of these players right now that try to have these hold-ins, hold-outs, negotiations. I mean, there's another owner we'll get to that's taking a pretty hard stance too.
Yeah, it's a big offseason for the owners in this battle. They're performing at a high level. The owners.
They'll get rid of their own. They ain't playing around. The owners is on a tear. It's the year of the owner.
That is true. They probably feel so much more confident now. Like, oh my God, the guy who knows all the dirt is gone. Great. Yeah. let's
the one that will talk is gone. The one that will air us out is gone.